If you've done much reading on wellness and weight loss, then you've probably heard of Dr. Barnett Meltzer. Dr. Meltzer's books, The 21-Day Del Mar Diet and The 10 Rules for High Performance Living, were bestsellers. But what you may not know is that Dr. Meltzer has been prescribing Liqua Health to his wellness patients for nearly 2 decades. I asked him to tell us why, and also to give us some background on how he became California's first preventative physician.
You know, I started out as a surgical resident at the University of California, LA, UCLA, UC San Diego is where I did my training. But somewhere in about my third year residency, it came to me that I thought I would rather be upstream than downstream. In other words, I realized that, you know, most doctors are specialists in disease, and I really was interested in specializing in wellness. It would be very, very rewarding for me to work with people to prevent disease, to promote wellness, and to prevent the actual suffering and the crisis of illness that was really the kind of go-to action for a normal traditional physician. The least costly illness is the one that never occurs. I mean, if I had another way to describe preventive medicine, I would probably call it protective medicine, a way to protect people, to protect what's important. And when you look at what's of value in your life, your health, your family, your loved ones, and things that really matter, you know, your health is going to be up there. So protecting your health, protecting your main asset, your wellness, what that involves in terms of thinking, actions, behavior, nutrition, lifestyles, this became very, very interesting to me. Nutrition is to preventive medicine as pillars are to a bridge. So I was very interested in nutrition. And as you study nutrition, you try to figure out what are the best foods, what are the best foods to eat, why, what are the foods to avoid, and you kind of, as your journey moves on, you start to understand. And I was really getting interested in nutrition and healing. And then in studying nutrition, I wanted to realize that the most effective foods were whole living foods. So that became clear to me early in my journey that the most superior diet for man would be a diet that was rich in whole living foods. And then from there, you start reading about what you call the miracle foods or the super nutrients or the superfoods, you see. And in the process, of course, spirulina came to the light. It was probably somewhere in the early 70s that I heard about it. It was from a doctor up in the Santa Cruz Mountains where I used to enjoy some recreating up there, and he was very high on this, and he introduced me to the blue-green algae and the qualitative benefits of the spirulina in terms of its nutritional potency. And it was very impressive to me that spirulina at that time was presented to me as having the highest potency of protein per gram of any food in the universe. And you want a product that's highly bioavailable. In other words, what that means is a product that's going to assimilate fully into your patient's bloodstream. You can make any claim you want about a tablet or a pill. I can't remember the last time I saw a pill growing on a tree, and I don't think that's the way it works. So liquid supplementation is far superior to any tablet, pill, or powder. So that kind of right there was a defining moment for looking at spirulina, because if you would go to the health food store or to whatever the pharmacies that now are more nutritionally conscious and different retail outlets that might carry nutritional products, you can probably find some spirulina. But what people don't realize is that spirulina is in powder, that spirulina is in tablets, and that what happens is if you study the science of spirulina, you find out that when that spirulina is extracted at above a certain temperature, for example 87 degrees, you denature or lose a lot of the potency of that spirulina. So once I got clear on that, I was looking for a company and a research team, scientists that could tell me that they knew the science of spirulina, and they were going to present a liquid spirulina that was extracted at the proper temperatures. And that is how I became interested in Re-Vita. See, what I look for in a superfood is I look for something that's high enzyme, that's alive, that's going to make you feel alive when you ingest it. So basically, the more alive the food, the higher the enzyme content, the stronger the nutritional chemistry of that food in terms of its life principles, the greater impact that's going to have on a person. So this is why I became interested in spirulina, because of its life-giving principles and the nutritional enhancement that it offers. You know, the way I present Re-Vita to my patients and to when I give my speeches and to many of the people who know me is that we all need in this day and age of high stress and environmental stress and if you will, the multiple tasking society that we have become, I believe we need some high-performing nutritional supplements. So I see Re-Vita as a high-performance supplement. Why is that? Because Re-Vita can give you energy. Energy. In other words, it energizes you. And this is really the bottom line of your practice in preventive medicine. If you're a specialist in preventive medicine, what you want to know about is people that are tired. You want to know what happened to people who get up and go. That's what you need to find out about, because people present with fatigue and stress and depression and weight gain, and they need help. Perhaps long before the doctor diagnoses this as diabetes, long before a doctor diagnosed this as stroke or potential heart disease, you see. So in the early stages of an individual, that when they come in and tell you they're feeling a little bit of tiredness or they have some lethargy, so the number one place that I would prescribe Spirulina for people is energy. Now, the second place is I would want everybody to be on a high-performance nutritional supplement, because I think the word is out, and I don't think there's any evidence to discount this, that individuals that supplement their diet do better than ones that don't. And I think the science of it has been clear. Even studies have gone even farther to know that individuals, for example, who take any kind of supplementation have a lower risk of heart disease and cancer than people who don't. So, I mean, I think we're in the ballpark now where we don't have to talk about, is supplementation optional, is supplementation, is it not necessary? I think supplementation is in to stay right now. It's a question of which supplement you're going to take. Just about everybody I see can use more energy. Just about everybody I see wants a better metabolism, and just about everybody I see would like to have help with what I call appetitis, which is inflammation of the appetite. They would like to have some help with that, and that's where I use Re-Vita. So for some people, I can use Re-Vita, might be used 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, once or twice as a multiple for foundation, maybe once or twice before a busy housewife that needs some energy, or an executive before it goes into a meeting, for individuals struggling with their weight to control their appetite. And I use it a lot with athletes as a liquid drink instead of Gatorade. I mean, actually, I have them go to their events. I've trained a number of Olympic athletes over the years. Carl Lewis and people like that are probably the most notable ones. And in their program, I would have them take the Re-Vita as part of their routine in terms of their training. So I think for energy, for metabolism, for appetite control, and for really helping people get metabolically more alive, I think that's where I use the Re-Vita. The Re-Vita diet plan would be very simple. I mean, I make it a part of just about, like I say, most of the people we see. What you do is you take Re-Vita and put it in fresh squeezed orange juice or fresh squeezed grapefruit juice in the morning, and then again at 10:30 in the morning. See, so now, first of all, let's get this principle clear. You know, I work on the belief of earn your meals. So I believe that to really have a metabolically fit situation, you know, you have to have a morning, it's what we call in my book, The 10 Rules, we talk about what's called the sunrise cleansing. So in the morning, you know, it's important to get your mind and body spirited and get it going. So good vigorous workout, some hydrotherapy, which to me is hot and cold showers. Of course, in California, it means going in the ocean every day or something like that. But then followed up with a meditation, and then followed it up with some high-performance nutrition. And that's where your Re-Vita comes in the morning with your juice. Now, if you do it in the morning at 8:30 or 8 o'clock, have another juice and Re-Vita perhaps at 10:30, have a light lunch, a sensible salad of light lunch. Again, around 3:30, have your Re-Vita. And in the evening, just have some vegetables and protein. You'd have a program that would just be unbelievable in terms of its effects on people's weight management. Absolutely unbelievable. So I think the purification process and the way it is prepared and extracted as a doctor, you know, the chemistry is of a meaning to me, and that's one of the reasons why I feel so good about supporting the Re-Vita.